It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbin Minds. Welcome. My name is Abel Kawabuchi, thanks a lot for joining us. Very eventful week we've had the last 7 days. A lot of politics in the air, which we'll get to in a minute. But it looks like the Naira and the exchange rate seems to have everybody talking all through the week. We're not sure what's happening with the Naira. It hit an all-time high, and then it started dipping again. There's still talk about the CBN redesigning the Naira, and something caught my attention in the front page of the This Day newspapers today, saying that politicians with billions in cash move against Naira redesign, as they mobilize the National Assembly to pass a resolution, as several lawmakers may have stockpiled cash for elections and are angry. That's the headline from This Day today. We're not sure what's going to be happening with that. From what this says, National Assembly might be having a conversation about this redesign soon. Coming against the backdrop of the fact that a lot of people have blamed this redesign on what's happened to the Naira in the last couple of weeks. We're not sure what made it strengthen again this last week, but I think a lot of people are grateful and hope it continues to strengthen. But it's been a very eventful week for the Naira, and it's affected a lot of businesses. Most people are completely unsure on how to price things anymore, and I think sadly we might be seeing the effects in the coming weeks and months with inflation, with the price of goods, and the after effects of the floods that have also happened. So it's not very certain times for Nigeria, but we're hoping to get some answers from the federal government and the CBN in particular in the coming days to give us clarity on everything that's happening, if the January 31st date still holds for the commencement of the new notes. But I'm talking of politics, of course. Like I said, it's been a very eventful week. Started off with talks about certain candidates not being present at a town hall meeting that was organized, and what that has now done to the entire race, and just communication and the availability and holding candidates accountable to their promises in the coming days as February 28th, February 2023 elections draw near. We're going to be starting that off as our conversation today. I have Orinio, who's the project lead for Nigeria Youth Futures Fund. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Buka. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, accountability is one thing I hold very strongly. Because I feel like that's one of the reasons why we're where we are today. I've always said we've never lacked in promises. We have candidates who say all the right things. That has never been the problem. And we also like to think sometimes that we have people who can execute at least a good number of these promises. But the holding people accountable part of things always seems to be where we fall short. And I always want to know, what should we be doing differently at a time like this? Especially when we now have candidates who are suddenly saying, oh, I'm not really interested in debates, in interviews, in talking to people. I will meet them based on my own plans. How do you feel when you hear things like that?
I think it's rather unfortunate. I think that is another way of us, taking another 5 steps backward. Debates or interactions, as the case may be, media interactions continue to be a tool, a platform to reach Nigerians. And if we have candidates, openly coming out to say that they are not going to honor such engagement, or ascribing to say that because I didn't honor one, I don't want to honor all of them, and things like that, doesn't speak well for the kind of democracy we are trying to model. And just there's nothing good to say about that kind of trend that we begin to set.
Yeah. On the flip side, there are people who also say the Nigerian political scene is not necessarily one that debates work with. Do people really decide who they want to vote for based on a debate? Do you think debates are that important?
So I would say that communication, talking to voters continue to be a tool. Even when we had authoritarian governments, they still understood the power of communication, of communicating to the people, at least communicating your plans. How much more when we are running democracy, when you're supposed to be, pitching your ideas. You've developed, all of the candidates have developed plans, from renewed hope to a new deal to, whatever plans all the other candidates have that they present to Nigerian people. It only makes sense that you provide or you join forums that allow you to further articulate and inspire hope in the electorate. So, but there is a very valid point around how people go to the polls. But that does not necessarily mean that is the best way, And for me, what I believe is actually happening is that the surrogates, the people around the candidates, have realized that it costs them more, to have their candidate demystified in terms of the inadequacies when you have the stark opposition of saying this compared to that person. It's so the comparison is so stark back. So they rather not risk that chance of pitting their candidate against the other candidates. And that's just the obvious no-brainer around that. You know, the inadequacies they're trying to hide by not, honoring debates.
I'll come back to you now, but I think we're joined online now by Reno Duola, who's a human rights advocate. Thanks a lot for joining us, Reno, and welcome back to the show. I want to ask you this because, politics is all about strategy, right? Especially when you're running for office. What really is wrong with a candidate saying, I don't necessarily want to kowtow to what, the media has set out for me. I have my own plan to communicate with people. I have my own way of campaigning. If that works to the candidate's advantage, why is that such a wrong thing?
Thank you very much, Ebuka. And I'll just add something on what, Okta said, that if to say now you get business, are you not going to interview the people that you're going to hire if you own a business? If now they look for job, should now you go tell who won't give jobs, say who won't give you jobs, say now these people go interview me or not. It's a case of we trying to dribble each other. Why are you afraid of talking to 200 people in a room if you want to be the leader of 200 million people? Now, why are candidates using this kind of strategies? Why are they saying, well, if these strategies work for me, so why are people trying to force me, to go for debate? The problem is that they are not focused on debate. They're not focused on strategies, rather. They are focused on the structure of criminality. They are focused on the structure of one bag of rice and 5,000 naira. They are focused on the structure of thuggery, on the structure of vote buying, the structure of ethnic and religious politics, the structure of godfatherism, the structure of top to bottom. That's what they are focused on. And so when we ask, is this a wrong way to play politics in the Nigerian context? We are asking, is it wrong to buy votes? Is it wrong to use guns to intimidate people? Is it wrong to use thugs to intimidate people? Is it wrong to use religious and ethnic tensions to win the elections? So for me, every candidate who is focusing on strategies, their own strategies, the structure of criminality, rather than talking to the people, should be voted against, or you should never vote for them. They're buying the future of our generation unborn, and we must not allow it. Especially for our politicians. Those who say they have progressive credentials, they believe that they have done so much for the people and that they have the people on their thumb, and that is enough to get them votes, whether they talk to you or not. And so it is very important that every citizen of Nigeria currently must hold these political officials accountable. They are the ones looking for jobs. They are not the ones to tell us how to engage us. We are the ones to tell them this is how you intend to engage the people, if you understand what I'm saying.
I want to follow up on that now, because we did have the town hall which started all of this controversy last week, and the candidate of the Labour Party has now said through his spokesman, Dr. Donyo Okupe, that he's not going to participate in any other debates if all the other candidates are not there. A lot of people have said, does that really not defeat the entire purpose? Are you selling yourself, or are you trying to, sell yourself with other people there? Why not still go and show up yourself? Do you think that's a good way to go about it? Is it not just becoming one of the others if it now starts avoiding this?
Yes, I agree with you. You see, the state that we are in today is one that Nigerian politicians want us to be. They don't want Nigerians to care about debates. They need us, just like I said earlier, to care about the 5,000 bag of rice, they want to give us during the elections, which is why Nigerians must not allow this to happen. You see, each and every person who has said that they are not going to engage with the people, Nigerians must make it, how do I say, Nigerians must make it a punitory measure for them. That's to be a punishment for them. Politicians would decide not to speak to us because they know that Nigerians will not vote for them. And so we must not allow that. It's not up to the politicians. It's up to the Nigerians. If Nigerians are ready for accountability, because power belongs to the people and not to any government official, not even to the president. The issue is that Nigerians have given up their power, in exchange for ethnic sentiment, religious sentiment, and all of that. Candidates are not speaking to Nigerians because they are incapable. And like I said, the problem is that you and I have told them that whether they speak to us or not, we will vote for them. So we, the citizens, have encouraged non-accountability. When we look at the data of the politicians that have refused to speak to Nigerians since 1999, you will find out that Nigerians have always voted for them, whether they choose to show up for debate or not. And for me, I feel that if you want to lead the people, it is people who should be speaking in this instance, not the politicians. I already talked about how I do not agree, with the position of politicians abstaining from debate. However, to the people, to Nigerians, if anybody wants to lead us, they must be prepared to be stripped bare, to be thoroughly examined of what they have done, what they can do, and what qualifies them to be in that position. There cannot be two-way about it, right? Speaking to electorates is just as simple as saying, why should Nigerians vote for me? So to you Nigerians, if your candidates can't speak to you now, they will never speak to you. You need to vote against people who refuse to communicate with you. I mean, nobody is forcing these guys to contest, and Nigerians should not make the mistake of believing that any politician is too good for questioning. So Nigerians should ask themselves today, how they plan to hold their politicians accountable. Or Shana, like this, we go the day. What is the point of you going to the polling unit, standing under the sun, and voting for someone who never bothered to speak to you or attend debates during campaigns? Thank you.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Renu. Let me get to you now, and I want to find out from you what's engaging the Nigerian citizen in an election season looks like to you. I ask this because we've had, like I mentioned, the Labour Party candidates who has now been criticized in some quarters for doing too many interviews. People have said he's overexposed, whatever that means. We have the APC candidates who has been accused of being too strategic when he's trying to formulate his own narrative internally with his party and his campaign team. We have the PDP candidates who was the first to release his manifesto, and people said, oh, it's not by releasing manifesto. So it's like, what does it look like for you or for the average Nigerian? What should it be? Because, I mean, debates, like I said, not everybody really cares about debates. They matter, of course. I'm a huge fan of debates. But is that all it takes? What does it look like to you?
Right, I think we should start from the basics. And the basics is that Nigerians are losing hope in the country. I mean, we've just come from doing retreats from across the country. We've been to the entire 6 geopolitical region. And what I would say, talking to young people across the entire country, what stands out is the fact that there is hopelessness in the land. And if we have someone running for president, the very least you can do is inspire. You want to govern in Nigeria, right? The very least you can do right now is inspire hope. You've put your manifesto in a document. The very least you can do is come to the people and address it and inspire that hope of a new Nigeria. What you're trying to realize, you're trying to govern people like Reno said, very spot on. What does it take to talk to a room of 200 people if you want to govern a country of over 200 million? So the very least you can do is inspire hope. For me, I think hope is important, that you believe that this country can work and you're able to articulate the hows. How do you want to take us there? How do you want to address the security situation? How do you want to address the problem of unemployment? We want to hear from you. We want to see in your eyes that you actually believe in what you're saying and, put that investment or that stake in you looking forward to the next 4 years. So, and if you're not able to talk to us now that you even need us to cast your vote, how much more are we expecting that you're going to talk to us? It's still that same feudal lordship system that is still being driven. I think there's something in our psyche as a people, even the people to have a responsibility. If these candidates are supposed to be the leading candidates, in an ideal situation, for you not to be attending debates is supposed to make you person non grata as far as election day is concerned. So the politicians have realized what the mistake they are making now is that there is a growing crop. There is a group of Nigerians that are now taking things very seriously who are going to vote based on merit. Nobody ever saw a Peter Obi coming, a candidacy at that coming and generating that kind of currency that he has. I'm not endorsing his candidacy, but he's telling a story. And if the establishment politicians don't see that as something right now to take seriously, then I think that there's something in it for them. There's something, there are some surprises that they have coming up.
But like Renu said there, I mean, we've gone through so many election cycles where these guys who never show up for debates end up winning, so it looks like it's a recurring theme. So what happens if that happens again?
Right, so...
I mean, does it really mean that doesn't matter? Because the engagement part of things is really important to me, and accountability on how post-February 2023 or post-May 29th, when the handover happens, how do we then flip that accountability side of things, to holding them?
Right. I think that the documents that they released in the first instance serves as a reference point. But beyond that, I'll give an example. When President Muhammadu Buhari came in, there were certain things that was agreed in the APC manifesto to say, I will do this, I will decentralize. True federalism was one of the key driving agenda. But it's been 8 years. We're wrapping up 8 years of the government, and we have instances where the president has come out to say it was the party that promised. I did not promise. So it means that when President Muhammadu Buhari ran, I have a friend who was working with Punch at the time and followed him throughout the campaign. All of the time, the president spoke to us more than 18 minutes. All of the times he held the microphone on campaign grounds. What happens is dancing, bring artists to come and dance and all whatnot. So we elected somebody who only spoke to us at a stretch in terms of accumulating all of the speaking time for just 18 minutes. And little wonder that he came into power and we had things like, it was the party that promised, Muhammadu Buhari did not promise this. So we're going to have a similar situation repeat itself again, where we have surrogates coming out to push to say this is what the president wants to do. But we want to hear from your horse. We want to say that you even believe in that. Anybody can gather consultants in the room to write the manifesto. Okay. We want to say that you're able to articulate those plans and you're able to directly connect with the people.
All right. Rino, I want to ask you about, because I think people also sort of confuse debates and town halls, and those are two completely different things. And I for one, believe that town halls are probably the most engaging way for politicians to interact with the people, because that's people asking you questions organically, and it doesn't always have to be on TV even. Why do you think even that is a problem? And how do Nigerians understand that, the idea of a town hall and sort of utilize that? We still have about over 3 months to go. It's something that we can still utilize, isn't it? Rino, can you hear me?
Yes, I didn't hear the last part. Can you please repeat the last part?
Yeah, I'm just saying, town halls, I think, are very, very fundamental, much more than even debates for me, because these are literally people speaking to the candidates in an open setting. It doesn't have to be live on TV. And like I said, I think we still have over 3 months to go before the elections. How do we utilize that, that power in town hall settings for the average Nigerian, even the low-income earner, even the non-educated? I feel like town halls are probably the most basic and organic way to engage these citizens, those candidates. How do we utilize that in the coming months?
Okay, thank you. One of the things Nigerians need to know is that before we can say we vote somebody into office and begin to hold that person accountable, because I heard what you said earlier, accountability is really key, especially as we approach elections for Nigerians. Before we can hold anybody we vote accountable or we want to vote accountable, there has to be information. And if we don't have information, we cannot do anything. You see, if we don't hear from these people direct and unfiltered, just like Okma said, there's nothing that we can hold them to. And so if Nigerians knew that, if Nigerian politicians rather knew that people will hold them accountable based on what they said and what they're going to do in office, there'll be greater incentive, to be effective in their office. Now, we're talking about debates, town halls, meetings, and all of that. And I find it very interesting because I think that all these are mediums of communication. We're only talking about this because the standard of leadership in Nigeria is in the dustbin, right? If you hold, just like Okpa said, if you wrote a manifesto and you were actively involved in writing that manifesto rather, what is the big deal in you defending that manifesto as many times as possible, whether it's in a debate or it's in a town hall meeting or it's in the market, you talking to the average Nigerian? Government or governance is a very stressful job. And if you can't be stressed, then you don't deserve the job. I saw one of the leading presidential candidates say they will only choose the medium they want to speak to Nigerians. You see, it is impossible. You can't speak in an echo chamber and expect 200 million Nigerians to make you their leaders. And so I would like to repeat the question I asked earlier again. If Nigeria, and this is to Nigerians, right? If Nigeria was your company, would you give the highest job in that company to someone you have not interviewed, right? I also very much think that our politicians have made it an idea to begin to hide behind spokesperson, whenever they get into office, as if they did not beg for the most important offices in the country a few months ago. So for me, I think whether town halls or debates, Nigerians currently, must ensure that they are hearing from their own leaders directly for the first time in a long time, and this way we will ensure. Because you can't deny it, I can't deny it, that the state of Nigeria today, it's in their state. Let me not just go further. So this way, if we hold them accountable and make sure that they're talking to us directly, we'll be able to provide competent people, to the country, people that we can finally call our own leaders. Thank you.
In one sentence, very quickly, are you excited with the level of engagement you're seeing from Nigerians with politicians leading up to February? Very quickly.
Yes, I am. And I also wanted to add in that the Electoral Act of 2022, it should be pointed out as giving us, the time, ample time for politicians, both citizens, for us to know about them and for them, to be able to tell us what they want to do with their platforms when they are elected. And so any politician that is not taking advantage of this time to tell us their abilities, to explain their manifestos to us and their sincerity of purpose should be voted against. Thank you.
Okay, are you hopeful very quickly?
Yes, I am hopeful, but I believe that there's a lot of room for improvement. The engagement, we need to step it up, especially with young people. Young people need to ask more questions. We need to interact with these candidates. We need to know what exactly it is that they have impact for the over 70 million people, or 70% of the population
Yeah.
that accounts for the youth population. So we need more engagement as we build into 2023.
Thank you very much, Okwe. Thank you very much, Rino, for your contributions. Looking forward to the coming months, definitely. And even though Christmas comes in between, but it's going to be a very intense couple of weeks ahead. We'll take a quick break now and be right back. Please don't go away. Welcome back. If you're an adult in Nigeria today, you're definitely going through it, no matter what income bracket you are in. It's been a very, very tough time for a lot of people, and the last couple of weeks have been very scary by any measure with, like I said at the start of the show, what's been happening with the Naira and just the price of things generally. And so I want to talk adulting today with two people who are probably going through it, or maybe they're not. Oluchi Odi and Senator Comedian, thanks for being here today. Because you guys look very bright and happy, you know? So maybe you should share the...
It's called the smoke screen.
How's it been for you? People have said the entertainment industry seems to be the only sector now that is thriving, especially music, of course. Then there's the acting and just, you know, entertainment generally. It used to be entertainment and tech, but a lot is happening in tech these days.
Yeah.
All the companies seem to be sacking people and crashing.
Yeah.
We don't know.
People are actually quitting.
Is it a myth that entertainment is probably the only sector now that is thriving? Or, like he said, is it a smoke screen where, yeah, things are happening, but it's not as good as it may look?
Well, I think the entertainment industry isn't doing badly. However, the economic state is affecting us. So whether we like it or not, when I'm trying to bargain a prize, my prize, I'm like, there's 1 million I want to collect. And they'll be like, no, we cannot afford you. Please collect 600K. So it has actually affected the way things usually run.
Yeah.
So we are trying, but the economic state is still affecting us, whether we like it or not, I think.
Comedy was always the escape, right? Is it still the case? Is it harder to make people laugh now?
Then I think we're on a nosedive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sad to say though, but
Entertainment or comedy?
comedy, I must
How
say.
so?
Yeah, because music has really picked up.
Yeah.
You know, they are beginning to define some level of structure.
Yeah.
And the movie industries are also doing likewise. We're getting a lot of partnership now, you know.
And the streaming platforms seem to have
Exactly.
sort of changed
Yeah,
things a bit.
exactly. So for comedy, there's a nosedive. We are either here nor there. You know, we are just at that,
Middle point.
Yeah, we're at the dead end, actually. That's what I was
Why
saying.
so? Or what's happening?
That's because at first, you know, it looked like, let me give you an instance. There were days when Night of 1,000 Laugh would just have like 5 comics, no music, and the whole hall would be packed. In fact, they will have
From
2
city to
sessions.
city.
City to city, they'll have 2 sessions. You know, but it doesn't happen now. It just doesn't happen now. And we have tingified the whole process. So we have to wait for the big man to come before the doors are open for the show, you know, because he is practically the sponsor
Bankrolling
or
everything.
bankrolling. And then you see a comedian who is supposed to bless the audience with his content. You begin to hear things like, my chairman, this one where you come here,
Selling
you
his
spray your
market.
boy. And then at the end of the day, you know, we've got no value because these people just feel that, oh, okay, you know. And then you see where they call, quote unquote, things like comedy club. When somebody comes to take 2 bottles of beer and then he hears all the jokes and you want to invite him for your grand show, and then he's seen more than half of the people that you want to bring on stage. You know, so we are heading to that siege, you know, and I think we need to get to that siege very, very quickly so that we can, you know, re-strategize and then
Like
get the chaps them off.
Is it because, like I said, it's harder now to make people laugh?
It's not
because of the situation, or you mentioned structure with, you know, the other sectors in entertainment. Is that also a problem? Or is there just no disposable income now to say, let me bring out this 5, 10, 20, 50, 100K to go and watch a comedian make me laugh?
No, the thing is, I wouldn't say it's difficult to make people laugh. What will make people laugh is what will make people laugh. Laughter is a universal language. You know, it doesn't, you know, matter what it is. I think it's just how we have grown to fight against what we think is the economic challenge, forgetting the table rules of that particular act. That particular act used to be, you know, so novel before, but now it's just everybody, all comers are fair. You know, people who even come in yeah, you can make people laugh, but then you don't even know how to go about it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Somebody just leaves his house, comes to stage, and then you pick on somebody all through your show. Is that all you planned for
That's
your
not why I
house?
came here.
Yeah, that's not why I came
So
here.
you sell
now.
your market.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying.
Let me come to you now, Luigi, because I want to talk, we're talking adulting and just what the situation of life is right now. I was seeing a social media influencer who said they spend over 2 million naira a month outside of rent, just on running their lives. You're talking diesel, you're talking giveaways, you're talking bills, NEPA, estate bills, just all of these things that just keep piling up. And you're wondering, how much is this person even making? Anyone who's earning 2 million naira a month is supposed to be a big boy or a big girl. At least that's what we used to think.
Exactly.
Now people are spending that just to exist. How much more are you now not supposed to make? Is that a reality, or is that a wealthy person's bracket?
I think it's dependent on the person.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I'm a prudent person. I'm not a spendthrift.
Did they help Jen by...
It is hard.
help Jen at
I
5 o'clock in the morning?
myself to them, yeah. But how would I explain it? For me, in a month, I would spend maybe 100,000. Yes, because I would have to buy. I would have to buy food. I live alone. I live
But you
with
have
my
to
friend.
now do this, right? Because of the reality of the times.
Yes, and on a normal day, it wasn't like this. It never was this expensive to live in Nigeria. I mean, I would go to the market and buy things of 10,000 naira, and it will fill up my backo bag. But now, I can't even. It's little or nothing, left. So for me, it's my prudency now taking charge and trying to make me align my priorities, because I know that I have priorities. I live alone, but I still have to do this and do that. But in order to sustain myself over time, I need to work on how much I spend each month.
Yeah.
So,
is that harder in Lagos than anywhere else?
Yeah,
Because they say the opportunities are here. So you make more money here, but you spend more here.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
Yeah, so because, when you have opportunities, you should also have those things that will fight the opportunities. That's what's going on. And then Lagos, we're living on a very fast life. Yeah, so the roads are bad. Even the alternate routes are also blocked. So we are struggling with all that to survive. So your productive time is basically on the road. You don't even plan well. That's why somebody at 3 months will put a baby in a creche. You get what I'm saying? It's chaotic, actually, I must say.
Yeah. Are you also as prudent as she is?
Well, I'm an Igbo man.
yeah, so and he has responsibility.
You don't spend anyhow.
You don't spend anyhow.
and that's even dependent on the status of the individual. I'm single. Imagine a married man. So you would even spend more than that 100. If I'm married, I would spend way more than 100,000 naira.
What has shocked you the most becoming an adult, from what you thought as a child? That you would be doing. Like some of us said that when we were small, one of the biggest things for me would have been eating 2 meats. I couldn't wait to get to that so that I can eat as much meat as I want.
Yeah.
That was, of course. I mean, I can see 2 meats by the grace of God, but nobody prepares you for all these other things that come with it, isn't it? What has shocked you the most? Like, wow, that's what this thing be.
That's what adulthood, now scam better. I think what has shocked me the most is the standard of living.
Yeah.
And housing. I remember when I was younger, my father's rent then was probably a 3-bedroom apartment. It was probably 250, and he would afford it. But now, rent is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially on the island, you can't even afford to. You need to find somewhere smaller, and the smaller I don't know. It's as if they want to start making us live like we're in London, where the apartments are so small, but yet the prices of the rent is incredibly high. Yeah. So I think it's accommodation for me that has shocked me the most.
What about you?
I think one of my biggest dreams when I was still a small child, was rather young, was to have a day that only me just eat one sardine. You know that?
Just the one that they will cut the fish.
Yeah. In fact, I can't even see sardine.
How much is sardine now?
I don't even know, because I've not even bought it.
It's crazy.
Because this was something that used to be like, when I was in university.
Yeah.
2 noodles and 1 sardine was like,
package.
make it just be safe. It was like you couldn't really afford big food. So let me just go to this guy.
This guy is there.
Indomie. And just chop this thing. All of a sudden, I'm hearing sardine is 700 naira. I'm hearing ridiculous prices.
Yeah, no.
So what are even students surviving on? You wonder.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. You see, we might laugh over it, but it's serious context.
Yeah.
Very serious context. And I must say that we overlook a lot of things, and that's why. When we started off with more just voter, more just voter. And then at the end of the day, you see that these two major parties have, established 24 years of nothingness. So it's high time we begin to tell ourselves some truth so that these situations will change. If not, we'll continue that way.
And it seems that people who are experiencing these, we're all experiencing hardship, but people are just myopic. It's like they've intentionally just decided to block their eyes. You're seeing hardship. Why do you want to still go through the same process again? Another maybe 8 years? Really? Come on, Nigerians.
I was going to ask, the one thing that I think started working for entertainment as a whole was when at least our parents started saying that, oh, people are fending for themselves. This thing is bringing money. Or maybe I should let this person be. He's not begging me for money. He's even sending me money. Yes. He has, rented or built something. But we're at a time now where it's looking like those who have like stable income might have gotten it right. People who earn a salary, that there's a guaranteed money coming at the end of the month. Like you said now, comedy is struggling. Entertainment industry, if people don't have disposable income, they won't go to the cinema or they won't subscribe to the streaming platform. And that also affects you on the bottom line, which you're saying has even started reducing negotiations for you. So is career now looking like, did I say this thing now?
I think at some point in my life, the major hit for me was during the pandemic. I started to question why I decided to act and sing in the first place. I'm like, Popsy already
sent me here.
Yeah. Because I act and I sing at the same time. So that's double stream of income for me. But the pandemic came and then it twisted things around for me. And now we're I feel like we're in a recession. It feels like a recession to me right now. But I think it's the faith that things will get better that keeps me in this career, and the fact that I'm passionate about it. So I'm constantly reminding myself, and we're not like the 9-to-5 people. You can be called all of a sudden, oh, we need you for this event, and we're going to pay you 100K. Someone sitting in an office 9-to-5 may be paid 100K, but I would have maybe certain number of events in a month, and I would make maybe 500,000. So it's dependent on how your job's coming.
You have done this for a while now, like so you kind of understand the industry.
Yes, I do.
You're probably at a place now where you are stable enough to navigate things, hopefully. But has there been times where you just thought, maybe I could just, have you thought about it?
Many times.
Yeah.
Many times. For me, what has kept me through the years is the passion. I studied theater and performing arts, as I guess that's why the corridors are quite familiar for me. So the passion keeps me going. But at certain times, you begin to, battle with some of the things you see on social media. You begin to wonder, and this same job all of us do. You understand what I'm saying? And it begins to weaken your faith. And there was a time I even said, I beg. Then I was staying in Satellite. So I said to my landlord, I said, this one business they be. Like, if I can't learn work for Alaba, I they be.
You want to bar boy?
But like I said, I've also discovered that this job that we're in is about, building relationships and negotiating your way through the times. So maybe I've done a better job, and that's why I'm where I am today. But I know it's not easy for a lot of people too.
Yeah. Would you want your kid to do it?
To do entertainment? He's towing that line because my son is always drawing everything he sees on TV. Wow. So I don't understand.
He said I don't understand.
I just don't understand. The boy is shocking me, and then every time he will just pause, cartoon program. He used to draw. He'll draw it exactly like that. Oh. And I can't get angry because it looks like he knows where he's going to. And I'm not going to stress him. At least he's lucky. At least he gets blue passport. So if he ran for if he run, so that's.
Would you have preferred a more structured career for him?
Basically, now I wouldn't say there are structured careers in Nigeria.
Thank you.
What I see is emergent careers.
Fields.
Where somebody will stay at home and gossip about what he or she saw, or somebody said, "Oh, this man go carry woman go this hotel." It becomes job. It becomes money-making, venture. Somebody carries a box every weekend and says, "Oh, I'm putting powder and lipstick on people, and I'm making so much money." So the emerging, factors, or rather, the emerging careers are building so strong that I can sit down now. Somebody makes an app on this phone, and then it's money.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I don't need to
Very
go
true.
out and
Very
all
true.
that. You know, so you can't even say lawyers, doctors. Those things are gradually fading
Phasing off,
away.
yes.
You know, herbal medicine is gradually taking away doctors' work and all that. You know, so
Completely agree with you, because I've said a few times on this show that I read an article 3, 4, 5 years ago. I can't remember exactly when, that said in 2/3 of the jobs that will exist in 25 years don't exist today.
exactly.
So there's still a lot more that are going to come. And can't even imagine what these jobs are. What do you want to do again? Anyway, you were shaking your head when he was talking about his child going to entertainment. You don't want?
I think it's getting better now, because I remember my dad once asking me, Olu, are you sure that this is what you want to do? And I told him, yes, Daddy. I mean,
I faced that.
Yeah, I'm independent to a very reasonable extent, and I've been able to foot my bills. So I think my child can do entertainment, yes.
Would you encourage it?
Yes, I would encourage her. My dad encouraged me. My mom did the same. Yeah. So why would
my dad
I
never encouraged me?
Well, my parents did though.
So when I got my admission to study diploma in theater arts, so I told my dad, he said, okay, after the diploma, okay, here's it again. I said, then I'll go for the degree. He said, okay, after the degree, okay, here's it again. I said, okay. So when I finished the degree, he said, yes, you finished the degree.
So which course did you
made it 2-1, and you know, yeah, so he now said, so when are you doing a professional course? I said, wait, all this time, why is? So it's not professional enough. Up until you started seeing things and all that. So sometimes he just call me, something happened in our meeting today. I think it was very funny. Maybe if you can use it on stage.
I mean,
that's nice.
Like, I'd had a CNN interview inside Africa, and my parents they featured in it because I was talking about my life as a theater actor and a singer.
Yeah.
And my dad got calls from church, and Odi, I saw you on the TV. I saw you and your wife on the TV. Wow,
so it's a lot of pride now.
Yes, it's a thing of pride.
That's always the best part. I mean, it's very tough times. I wanted to talk to you about, freedom, which we all crave as kids. When I'm an adult, I'll be free. It's not enough anymore.
Now I crave rest, sleep. I barely go out.
The freedom comes with too many bills.
Yes, it does. Definitely.
Well, good luck to both of you, man. I mean, you guys are doing absolutely amazing. I've been a huge fan of yours, for a long time, and you are definitely going to be a shining star. I know we're all going through it. That's the honest truth. Like I said, no matter your income brackets in Nigeria today, and probably the globe, because a lot is happening around the world.
Yes.
Let's just hold on, man, because
hold on
tight.
We have to be here. Thanks a lot for being here today.
Thank you, Ika. Thank you so much.
We'll take a quick break. I'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back now. If you are anywhere around the globe or have seen the news in the last year or two, you would definitely have heard terms like, FinTech is the new oil, crypto is the future, NFTs and all those terms, But a lot is happening very interestingly in that sector right now. And even I need answers. And I'm joined now from Abuja by Henry Dennis, who's a crypto and Forex analyst. Thanks a lot for joining us, Henry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much.
All right. So explain to me like a layman, this FTX thing that's happening and all the talk about the fact that, it looks like it's looking like downtimes for the entire tech space as a whole. We're seeing layoffs here and there. We're seeing companies that are closing up or going bankrupt and all of that. And, we heard for the longest time that if you're not investing in crypto or if you're not a part of the fintech ecosystem, you are not a part of the future. Is that still the case? What happened?
Okay, so what happened to FST is bad for everyone. It's bad for all investors. And in the crypto space, we are in the bearish market, which is the wrong time to invest money. People should make sure they do critical research before putting their hard-earned money in systems like cryptocurrency. You want to have a financial expert or a professional tell you what to do before you put in your money. Anything can happen in the cryptocurrency market. You can lose your entire money. It's very risky, highly risky. And we should expect more from other crypto projects because the whole system, from gold, stock markets, like people are losing. Look at Meta. Meta is losing money. That's Facebook. Like people are losing money. Both crypto, both Forex, people are losing money. Currency, the economy is bad. It's crazy right now in the market. So you want to make sure you're doing deep critical research before you put your hard money in the market.
So I hear you there, but I mean, doesn't this validate the arguments which a lot of governments around the world have had about, their fears about, the crypto space, which is why they've never really legalized it or, authorized it, or the central banks around the world have always been very skeptical, ours included. Doesn't this make the case for them and, make it even harder for anybody to take the space as seriously as, many would like it to be taken?
Actually, it does. It does. But one thing you need to understand about the cryptocurrency, legalizing it, crypto was built to be decentralized, right? Means no one should have control over it. But the way the system has been running, people are having institutions, let me use the word institution, hedge fund banks are trying to control money. That the way money works in cryptocurrency is supply and demand. So they control more of this tokens or coins, and they can liquidate it anytime they prefer. So it's one of the reasons why the government don't want people to get involved. But retail traders who trade this can make little money out of it. But before you can even trade the financial market, you have to get the skill. It's. I would not advise you if you don't have the skill to get involved in the cryptocurrency market. It's highly risky. Highly risky. You can lose your entire money.
So for those who have invested already, because I've seen a lot of conversation online or even personal friends, who invested heavily or not in the last year plus, now wondering what are they supposed to do now? So if I'm someone who put in money into whatever platform, not necessarily FTX, which is going through their drama right now, and I'm seeing what's happening with the numbers and how much it has crashed. What am I supposed to do now? Do I take what I can get out of it? Do I wait it out? Or like, is this the end of, this, this fantasy?
Okay, I usually do not give financial advice, but if I was supposed to advise my loved one, I would tell them sell your crypto, sell what you have left, because it's going to be difficult for you to lose your entire money and don't have anything to fall back to. It's better to take what's left, like let's just say the leftover. So let's say you invested $1,000 and now you have $200 left. When the bearish market, the market will keep crashing. You already see that stocks is crashing, crypto is crashing, and it's just crazy everywhere. So just take what you have. At least those that have money to eat, I would say, should go get that money off and use it to buy food for their families than use the entire money to the market.
Is this the beginning of the end of the crypto space, or is it going to come back, you think?
Okay, so timing is important in the financial space. That's what we call market cycle in the financial space. And the circle where we are in, it's the bearish circle. The bearish circle means all prices of different assets, be it crypto stock on the financial market, is going to keep going down. So it's going to go down to a certain level. That level is a demand zone. So that's where people are ready to buy. So people are willing to buy cheap. All right. So that's, I won't say it's really the end, but till we get to that demand zone, we don't know what will happen in the crypto space. But more safer spaces are stock market, which has been there longer than the cryptocurrency market. The forex market too is older than the cryptocurrency market. Cryptocurrency market is quite a baby, 10 years old, so I still call it a baby. So that's just it.
So I always found, even when all of the hype was going on, I found crypto. I mean, you could explain it to me, and it would make sense. The one thing I never thought made sense to me, and still doesn't, were NFTs, and even that went through its own crash before all of this happened. I'm almost convinced that it's the end of the NFT era. Do you think so?
For NFT, I just see NFT as one of the products in the blockchain system. The blockchain has produced ICOs, cryptocurrencies. These are just products in the blockchain. The blockchain is more important. So NFT and metaverse. Okay, NFT, basically, I'm not really big on NFT, to be very honest. I just feel like having bored apes or apes with
Exactly.
birds, and you are putting a value in them. Like, so now I'm hungry and I go to the market, I can't even sell my NFT. So I just think it's highly risky. I don't really advise people to get involved in it. It's just too highly risky.
And I know we talked about fintech at the start. You know, the fintech space as a whole, we've seen what's happened with layoffs at Meta, at Twitter. There's a lot happening, and these are some of the mega companies globally. You know, in Nigeria, are we safe from that? You know, we're starting to have unicorns here and there, and people are, you know, building interesting, you know, businesses in the fintech space. You know, should we be worried, or you think it's just a blip?
The fintech space is a very large space. It's worth over $3.3 million. And this space over time has provided solutions. So I believe if your fintech is going to survive this economical crisis, you have to be providing value solutions. You have to be solving a problem, especially fintech in the crypto space. You don't want to put your money in a crypto fintech brand if that fintech brand is not solving the problem. So I usually tell people, do not put your money in the fintech brand that's not solving the problem. Don't look at the hypes. People always look at the hypes. Oh, it's going to go up. It's going to buy. No, don't do that. It's wrong. So I advise do not do that. We are safe and we are not safe because if the whole market crash, I don't believe the whole market will crash because there's always going to be exchange of value money. People are going to need money, for exchange. And therefore, these fintechs brands that in Nigeria are out there are going to be valuable to us. They are going to be used for exchange movement of money. So let's say you have a sibling over abroad, let's say London, for example, you need to send money to that person. You can send in this cryptocurrency. So that's value there, that's a solution. It's solving a problem, moving of money from here, but easily, very fast. So fintech brands like that would stay longer than other fintech brands that do not have solutions or do not give value.
Well, thank you very much, Henry Dennis. I mean, I'm looking for all the answers anywhere possible because it is a lot happening, and nobody wants to lose money at a time like this when there's even no money to make anywhere. Well, thanks for joining us today, and we'll keep our fingers crossed going forward. Well, like I always say, you can follow the conversation on social media. Please use the hashtag #RubbinMinds when you send us a message. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next Sunday.